Dolph's death changed everything.
Govan asked for young Dolph to be murdered.
Mr. Govan has been indicted and is in custody for being involved in the young Dolph murder. He played the role of the person who solicited.
Breaking news or breaking nerves? Because what just went down in Memphis is the kind of story that makes your jaw drop. Your eyebrows rise and your trust in the rap game completely evaporate. Ladies and gentlemen, it finally happened. Key Glock, young Dolph's protege, the man who once swore revenge for his cousin's murder, has been arrested in connection with the killing of Yo Gotti's own brother, Big Juke. Yeah, let that sink in. Now pause. Ask yourself this: was this cold-blooded justice? Or a setup so wild it makes reality TV look like a bedtime story? Because here's the kicker: just hours after the arrest hit headlines, Yo Gotti himself broke his silence. And trust me, what he said wasn't just a statement, it was a declaration of war. The beef that started with young Dolph's murder in a cookie.
Snipers, helicopters, and a massive police presence, all for the funeral of Yo Gotti's big brother, Big Juke. That's what people saw in Hickory Hill today outside of New Direction Christian Church.
Shop has now spiraled into full-on chaos. Family versus family. Empire versus empire. And loyalty versus betrayal. So buckle up. Because in the next few minutes, we're digging into the lies, the secrets, the anonymous leaks nobody else dares to talk about. And by the end, you'll be asking yourself one question: is Memphis witnessing the biggest rap conspiracy of all time? So let's rewind, because nothing in Memphis happens in isolation. This isn't just some random rapper getting caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Oh no, this is the kind of twisted saga that makes Game of Thrones look like an episode of Sesame Street. On one side, we've got Yo Gotti, CMG boss, self-proclaimed kingpin of Memphis rap, and a man who somehow manages to always be innocent while the people around him drop like flies. And on the other side,
and remembering the man who every day took the time to take care of young Dolph's memorial at Makita's Cookies, where the rapper was murdered last November. So far, police are not sure if Jeremiah Taylor's murder last week was somehow related.
Key Glock, the flashy protege of young Dolph, who didn't just lose a cousin when Dolph was gunned down in 2021. He lost his mentor, his career's anchor, and maybe, just maybe, his mind. And smack in the middle of all this, Big Juke, Yo Gotti's brother, the so-called family man who somehow ended up being painted as one of the most hated figures in Memphis after Dolph's death. Juke wasn't just Gotti's blood, he was allegedly his fixer, his enforcer, his guy behind the curtain. If CMG was the empire, Juke was the shadow that kept the machine running. But let's not sugarcoat it. The streets already had Big Juke stamped as problematic. He mocked young Dolph after his death, laughed at murals, and went on Instagram sounding more like a W.E. heel than a grieving brother. Memphis fans didn't forget, and neither did Dolph's people. So fast forward to 2024. Big Juke shows up at a funeral, posts cryptic captions about snakes and betrayal.
Several public officials calling for a curfew tonight, fearing acts of retaliation in certain parts of the city after young Dolph is shot and killed.
Betrayal. And hours later, he's riddled with bullets outside the ripass. Chaos, panic, and sirens everywhere. Witnesses said it looked like a scene from Call of Duty. But here's where things get darker. Police start sniffing around. Whispers hit the streets. And suddenly, Key Glock's name pops up, allegedly tied to conversations. Allegedly seen with suspicious associates. Allegedly connected to the kind of people who don't just buy cookies in Memphis bakeries, they settle scores in them. Now, was Glock really behind this? Or was his name dragged in because the city needed a scapegoat? That's the million-dollar question. But according to sources, and when I say sources,
tragedy struck.
Well, at least 5 police sources have confirmed with Fox 13 that the person killed is Anthony Mims, also known as Big Juke. Now, Big Juke is the brother of rapper Yo.
I mean the kind of anonymous people who spill tea faster than bloggers on caffeine. The arrest warrant wasn't random. Detectives reportedly linked Glock to encrypted messages, late-night meetings, and surveillance footage that hasn't been made public yet. One insider claimed, man, they've been watching Glock since Dolph died. It was just a matter of time before they pinned something on him. And just like that, Key Glock's freedom turned into breaking news. But the real plot twist? The moment word spread about Glock's arrest, Yo Gotti finally opened his mouth. And trust me, what came out wasn't a calm PR statement. It was gasoline poured on a fire already burning out of control. And then it happened. After days of silence, whispers, and conspiracy theories piling up like dirty laundry, Yo Gotti finally spoke, but forget the polished press release. Forget the "I ask for privacy during this difficult time" nonsense celebrities usually hide behind. Nah, Gotti went full Gotti in an Instagram live that felt more like a diss track than a statement.
Video of the arrest of one of the men accused in Young Dolph's murder. Last night we told you Cornelius Smith was arrested in South Haven a month ago. Police picked him up on a warrant for an...
And he said, "Everybody think they know what's going on. But let me be clear, family, don't fold, and snakes always reveal themselves. Y'all gonna see the truth real soon." Boom, mic drop. Internet meltdown. In just 24 hours, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram turned into an Olympic-level drama arena. Hashtags like hashtag free Key Glock and hashtag justice for Big JOOK started trending simultaneously. Proving the internet has no loyalty, it just loves chaos and the chaos. It got worse. Because then came the leaks. Anonymous insiders started dropping document screenshots of supposed text messages, blurry photos of Glock's car allegedly near the scene, and even a wild claim that Glock had been using a burner phone registered under the name Young Flipper. Come on. You can't make this up. One supposed FBI source even told a Memphis blogger, "This isn't about rap beef. This is about organized retaliation." Glock was on the radar long before Juke's death. There are layers to this case nobody wants to uncover. Sounds like an episode of Narcos, right? But the streets weren't buying it so easily. At a candlelight vigil for Big Juke, some fans shouted, "Glock did it," while others clapped back yelling, "Set up." The divide was real. Even Dolph's old fan base was split, half screaming revenge, half screaming conspiracy. And as if that wasn't enough fuel, bloggers, YouTubers, and fake woke, TikTok detectives started stitching together the so-called evidence like they were solving a Netflix documentary. One viral post read, "Look at the shoes Glock was wearing on the night of Juke's funeral. Same shoes in the blurry surveillance pic? Case closed. Really? Since when did wearing Jordans become Exhibit A in a murder case?" But this is how scandals spiral. Real facts get drowned out by fake receipts, exaggerated leaks, and fans playing FBI agents from their bedrooms. And Yo Gotti? Oh, he knew exactly what he was doing. By throwing shade without naming names, he made sure Glock's arrest didn't just look like a legal case, it looked like a betrayal straight out of a mafia movie. The implication was clear. Big Juke's death wasn't random, it was personal. The question now wasn't just did Glock do it? The question was, what happens next? Because behind the scenes, whispers of federal involvement were starting to surface. So here's where things get messy, and when I say messy, I mean the kind of messy that makes TMZ blush. Because the moment whispers of federal involvement hit the streets, the whole situation jumped from a rap beef to a full-blown criminal saga. Reports began swirling that the FBI had quietly stepped into Memphis. Why? Not just because of Big Juke's murder, but because investigators allegedly discovered a tangled web of illegal money, shell companies, and under-the-table deals connecting both CMG and Paper Route Empire. One so-called leaked memo even suggested the feds were eyeing this case as a potential RICO investigation. Yeah, you heard that right, Rico. The same law that took down mob bosses and recently turned Atlanta's rap scene upside down in the fallout. It spread fast. Suddenly, CMG artists went silent on social media. Studio sessions were canceled. Club appearances vanished. Even DJs started hesitating to spin Glock tracks, worried about unwanted heat. Meanwhile, every blogger with a microphone declared themselves an expert on federal law, predicting who'd snitch first like they were commentating a reality show. But let's not forget the streets. In Memphis, tensions skyrocketed. Some neighborhoods saw graffiti wars breaking out overnight. Free Glock sprayed on one corner, CMG for life on another. Fans weren't just talking, they were picking sides, and Yo Gotti, he doubled down. Just days after Glock's arrest, he posted a cryptic message on Instagram. We built this city. But every empire got traitors. Stay tuned. Cue another internet explosion. Was he hinting that Glock betrayed Dolph's legacy? Was he warning the feds? Or was he just fueling the narrative to keep CMG untouchable? Nobody knew, but everybody had a theory. Meanwhile, rumors started flying that Gotti himself could be subpoenaed. Imagine that, the man who's been dodging accusations for years suddenly being dragged into a federal probe. Bloggers were already calling it the trial of the decade, before charges were even filed, but the consequences didn't stop at the music industry. Brands started backing away too. A clothing sponsor allegedly froze Glock's deal, and whispers claimed one of Gotti's real estate ventures in Memphis hit regulatory delays overnight. Money was on the line, and when money moves, the sharks start circling by the time week 2 rolled around. The whole thing felt less like a murder investigation and more like a blockbuster scandal that nobody could turn off. The truth: nobody knows if Glock is guilty, if Gotti's hiding skeletons, or if this is just Memphis politics on steroids. But one thing is certain: the fallout has already begun, and the consequences are about to be bigger than anyone imagined. Because if the feds really push RICO, this won't just end Key Glock's career. It could shake the entire Memphis rap empire. And maybe even take Yo Gotti down with it. So here we are, Memphis turned upside down. Key Glock sitting behind bars. Yo Gotti throwing cryptic bombs on Instagram, and the feds supposedly circling like vultures. If this isn't the plot of the wildest Netflix series never made, I don't know what is, but the real question is, what do you think? Is Glock being framed to settle old scores? Or did Yo Gotti just pull off the most dangerous silence-breaking stunt of his entire career? Because one thing's for sure, this story is far from over. The conspiracies, the leaks, the betrayals, it's all just heating up. Drop your theories in the comments. Smash that like button if you're as shocked as I am. And don't forget to subscribe, because trust me, the next twist in this saga will be even crazier. This is Memphis. And in Memphis, the truth is always stranger than fiction.